Create a gang is undefeated. I keep it real, pack to steal if whoever want it. Clap, Judah be running laps when he get confronted. Got Devil Cosmon and knock you off of 500. They hit the club, roll up a Judah dub, forever blunted. Contemplating on who we gonna take out next. Got Cosmon, Cal, Malik, Mac could be the best. The 4 horsemen who understand the business. Contract killers won't hesitate to kill a witness. 21 bodies executed on my hit list. JJ trying to watch me, trying to take pictures. Yara working with woods and paint a bunch of snitches. Peer pressure separate the real from the bitches. Niggas be gang until you start to bang bang. Let a nigga brains hang on everybody like dang. You thought it couldn't happen. Yara wanted smoke, 9/11 Manhattan. Bullets in his breastplate, both lungs collapsing. Hands reaching in the air, for the air he grasping. The flyer was made, Sila Shalom first captain. But the captain ran away, just like if nothing happened. I'm a certified killer. Peel a nigga, cut him open and feed him his own liver. Graphic is how I paint the picture. Shoot shots like a pitcher. Split JJ like a swish. Cut the head off for the lion's den and watch the rest of the body quiver. Core shots I deliver when it's crunch time on the trigger. Got 2 pair of eagles fly like seagulls when it's time. I scoot out, shoot out. Air out Yara every time. Standing behind enemy lines, killing my enemies every time. Defend the faith like Muslim Sunni soldiers at a shrine. I facilitate thoughts beyond the thoughts of mankind. Create a gang is in the prime while you niggas get left behind. Create a gang is undefeated. Salute, Daryl Cosmon, Cosmon Cal, Malachi Maccabee, and the whole Create a Gang gang. Nigga, we outside with it. All that huffing and puffing don't mean nothing. You step in the dojo. Create a gang is undefeated. Create a gang is undefeated. Know that. Know that. They not like us. Separate the real from the fake is a must. We stand on creator and no God we trust. Team Kemet got crushed into powder and dust. Woo! Kemet looking bad now. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many men down? Look at us all running, ducking, trying to skip town. Now power one it in. You Hebrew, what you Kemet now? Siding with the people that enslaved your own people now? Chop you up into pieces and throw you in the river now. Reggie right beside you, get ate by Kemetic crocodile. Look, we got them running, covering square miles. Scared to death, what's left only to take the crown. Get smashed down on your own stomping ground. We took over like the Hicksers on your turf doing a disco. 2-stepping, no half-stepping with the info. You wouldn't even know the book of the dead, bro, if it wasn't for the translation done by my sparrow. Your time's narrow, semi-missiles blow out your arch arrows. Arches down, so goes the pharaoh. I saw him reading the glyphs like he an expert, but where he learned that from? This about to hurt. First translation came from Samuel Birch. European Egyptology gave you it first. You couldn't translate a bird to a word without looking up them European definition verbs. Y'all niggas acting like y'all blackity black, frontin' to the people, man, y'all niggas actually whack. Your pathetic comedic creation meant it's a trap. The blind leading the blind with no actual facts. Shabario Saze, you softer than Sade. Come to find out he followed Yahweh. That was your execution, you par Rosicrucian. Western thought you using, you are quite confusing. Don't know what you doing, how my eye got you moving. Right now you are losing, at your wake I'm viewing. R.I.P. communion, mummy wrapped in ruin. Oahspe is ruling, science has been proven. All motion moving, you live in an illusion. Who you think you fooling, think you need some schooling. It's like Reggie out here living in a ghost town, walking around like I see dead people around. I don't believe in spirits, but I believe them now. Stuttering Stanley, you can have a seat now.
Stuttering Stanley, stuttering Stanley, stuttering Stanley, stuttering Stanley. Shut up, you freak.
Freaky ass Kemet, they got 69 gods. Freaky ass Kemet, they got 69 gods. Freaky ass Kemet, they got 69 gods. 69 gods, 69 gods. Freaky ass Kemet, they got 69 gods. Freaky ass Kemet, they got 69 gods. Freaky ass Kemet, they got 69 gods. 69 gods, 69 gods. Create a gang is undefeated. Create a gang is undefeated. And it's gonna remain that way. And it's gonna remain that way.
Yeah, I feel good right now. The atmospheric, green skies, the gang coming. I be in and out, So leave that thing running, purified is preferred. Higher frequency, a higher verb. I observe on a different nerve. Breaking codes, I am the yoga. Deadly as a Ruger, straight and a shooter. Out the holster with this mudra, inoculation with the wisdom. Creator shape my prism and hit them with no schisms. Reason turn the light up. Y'all disappointing like 9 to 5 and some write-ups. Something rearranged, let that boy cook. Organization 33, stay up in them books. Lead them boys shook. 46 divided, yeah, I'm Fort Michael. It was only rifle that I came up in this cycle. They say they gangsters, but they telling it. Step outside, take off my shoes and let the sun hit my melon. Had to relearn that the herb beat the medicine. It's the same matrix, so who you think you better than? Perfect.
Peace. Welcome back to another episode of the Bronze Yoke Reports. Been a little hot sec, actually several months since I've been on this mug, but you know how it is, man. Life be lifing. Kids, jobs, the whole nine. But we here. And on this so-called new year, January 2nd, 2025. I know one thing, y'all, 2024 flew by like it wasn't nobody business. Super fast, but we gonna see how fast this year go. But yeah, shout out to the guys and goddesses in training, gods and Norvanian goddesses in training. You know what I'm talking about? And to all the haters, chop poppers, and tongue lash experts. We still in the Oahspe, y'all. We still in the Oahspe. Ain't gonna be in that mug for quite a long time because of all the truth that it reveals in this day and age. Here in the Cosmon era. And we coming from the book of Lika, whatever how you want to pronounce it, tomato. And we'll start at chapter 19 just to give a little context to what's going on. Now, you know what? I'm going to show a little bit of this video first. That's how we're going to kick it off. This cat named Barry Littleton is medium, and he be breaking down some things that you will find in the Oahspe pertaining to earthbound spirits. And the dope thing about this is you don't find too many books that talk about this phenomena, but then you got something to do. You know, but even the most revered books on Earth right now, a lot of them don't get to this depth of information.
The other spirit has incarnated back here for another.
Right now on Higher Journeys with Alexis Brooks.
I've crossed over a few spirits that are still here based on relationships from other lifetimes. The other spirit has incarnated back here for another lifetime, and they're still trying to hang around.
The grief of losing a loved one and the sadness that emerges from the passing of an individual is hard enough. But imagine if that individual weren't fully crossed over.
Oh, yeah, and I got this sped up just so hopefully I won't get hit with no copyright. So that's why I sound a little faster.
What if the spirit of that once physical being is literally stuck between two worlds? Barry Littleton, known for his excursions outside of the physical realm, including his multiple contact encounters with non-human intelligence, has also been very active in work that he says helps those trapped individuals make a full transition into the light. Barry says that more recently, he has encountered a huge jump in the number of earthbound spirits hovering close to this plane, not ready or willing to make a full transition. But is there a reason for this more recent escalation of trapped souls? Barry Littleton had some very interesting, though sobering thoughts on the matter. Barry Littleton, I want to talk to you about something that you and I have talked about offline quite a bit, and that is this idea of individuals who have crossed over, personalities that have crossed over, that you feel in excess are hovering or now earthbound spirits. I asked you just about, I don't know, a week or two ago in our last conversation, and how long do you feel that this has been going on? And you feel that this is a relatively recent phenomenon. Guys, we're talking about, and we know that there are deaths globally every day. We know that. And I'm not going to get into numbers, but let's just say, even with this backdrop that we have going on right now, God forbid, and these beautiful souls, for whatever reason, feeling themselves tethered to this planet. Barry Littleton, why do you feel this is happening more now? I want you to talk a little bit about this. But you know what, before you even answer that question, give the audience, because I think there's a large part of the audience that is not aware of the fact that in addition to the great work that you do into the ET contact phenomenon, as well as being an experiencer, that you are also involved in, let's just say, you have a proclivity for psychic ability and have worked with people in that regard. First, tell us a little bit about that, and then go into your thoughts about earthbound spirits right now.
You know, kind of relegating that to this topic at hand. For me, I think what happened to what happened to me happens to a lot of young people that have not just the clairvoyant ability, but the mediumship ability. You know, every medium is a clairvoyant, but every clairvoyant is not a medium. So there's a little difference in the gifts. And if something like what happened to me was, I was attacked by an earthbound spirit when I was 7 years old in a house that my uncle was renting. And when this happened, it was, first of all, it was a type of an assault, you know, and it was very uncomfortable. And a lot of these earthbound spirits, because sometimes you have people that are like that. They're either.
Question is, how many of y'all experienced this either while you was young, you was a kid, a teenager, young adult, or just full-fledged adult? Because you know, if you have experienced something of this nature, can't nobody tell you any different. I don't care what book say it ain't happening or whatever. But you know what you experience for yourself.
They're molesters or have some type of a really negative behavior pattern where they're in the human body, and then their body dies, they don't cross over, and they seem to become something even worse. And I think that's what I experienced there. And that people that have that either clairvoyant or mediumship ability is like a lighthouse in that darkness to those earthbound spirits. And then they either try to attach. If they can't attach, they'll hate, and they'll try to project things into your mind, fear.
Pertaining to, you know, having a spiritual experience. I just wanted to add that in there. But yeah, spiritual experience where you seen something. Something fell off the wall, fell off the dresser. You felt something physically. You know, these things happen to people every day. And a lot of times, most of the time, they just get pushed to the side like you was the one that was tripping.
Violence, things of that nature. So that helps to kind of restrict the people that have gifts from ever using them. It'll scare you half to death. It'll make you want the ability to go away, especially because our society doesn't openly train people how to deal with these abilities. Instead, we act like it doesn't exist. So that's the first part as concerning psychic abilities and mediumship, concerning earthbound spirits that I had to deal with. And that was as a child. So I think that happens to a lot of people, and it's something to be aware of.
Okay. It is something to be aware of. And you're right. Society, not only do we not give due attention to these sorts of things, there's still, you know, a major giggle factor when it comes to the validity of these things. And I say we do not have time for that, for all the people, whatever the phenomena is, whatever the scenario is, whether it is contact with non-human intelligence, of which we both agree there may be millions of people globally having contact on a regular basis, and it's still not considered a valid phenomenon because it's not understood. Same goes for, we're talking broadly about this idea of survival of consciousness.
Again, this is sped up on purpose, just so I'm trying to avoid getting hit with copyright. So that's why it's going a little fast.
The survival of consciousness idea, life after death. Sure, life after death, consciousness continues, but if that consciousness is in effect stuck here or hovering close to the planet, there's a problem. And
you know, something, Alexis, is how easy that happens for someone to get stuck here. So in that way, it's not just a recent phenomenon. It's been going on a long time, because I've crossed over a few spirits that are still here based on relationships from other lifetimes that the other spirit has incarnated back here for another lifetime, and they're still trying to hang around. So it's that type of a deal. And so the major things would be substance abuse. That's a big one that keeps people here. Attachment to property, attachment to certain loved ones, behavior patterns that they just can't shake. These are major things that keep people trapped here. Another one is the fear of hell. It will make some retreat from what that light is that comes at death. We hear all these things, oh, the false light, and oh, this and that, and such said, don't go into the light, yada, yada. Man, that's bad advice. And I base that on all of the people I've worked with now. That is bad advice. All the spirits, earthbound spirits I've crossed over, that's bad advice in terms of when the light comes at the very beginning of your death process, when the death process wants your life memories, that's part of what death takes from us, all right, is that you have the chance to actually go with the light. If you have the discernment between light, like I know the light of the warm light of the sun, the life-giving light, compared to the light I feel from the moon. So when you're in that out-of-body situation, you're much more heightened awareness than you would think, and people give credit for. So your discernment is high. Like for example, when I died and experienced my loved ones that had actually, we just buried him a few days before I had my accident. Him and my grandmother, I can say they weren't just projections, and they weren't somebody masquerading as them based on it felt like them. I could feel them as energy, as spirits, even though it was physical, like talking to you. At least I thought it was, but it was that kind of that corridor between the death process. But that's another subject. Anyway, I just want to just make it clear of how easy it is for people to get stuck here and then not go into the light or run from it because they think it's judgment. Several of the spirits have told me that light came and I got away from it, and it finally went away. And then they can't feel the love, and lack of love is another thing. And if you can increase the love that some of these earthbound spirits have and their awareness of it, suddenly they start seeing other beings in the room, being angelics, loved ones, and things that will help them cross over. So this is another problem that, what I found too, like some of the places that a lot of these earthbound spirits would join with people was in the hospital. Because you have how many people have a sudden death in the hospital and they become discombobulated for whatever reason. I had, okay, just example, we'll just go here. It's taking us down the rabbit hole, right?
And just imagine, man, the energy in a hospital. The energy in the hospital is probably so, it ain't even probably, it is so high that it's just hard to fathom. And if we go there ourselves or we go visit somebody, man, a lot of times we just, it's like an everyday thing. Don't even dawn on you that there's a lot of activity going on in here other than physical, other than the corporate.
The last earthbound spirit I had crossed over, it was a female, and she had attached to the client at the hospital. And she said there were several people in there. There's a bunch of us in there. There were always a bunch of us around, but I was the only one that could join with them. And when she says this, after time I asked, well, how many were in there trying to join? And the number they gave me was there's about somewhere between 35 and 50 of us. But only I could join and was strong enough to jump on. And when you start going to that factor, I want to say something else. I might mention this in our last show, is that a lot of these spirits have told me that they joined with the person in the incubator room when they were babies. So that means these are earthbound spirits that have been with this person for their whole life. Maybe in their 40s, 50s, 60s. And it's a part of their personality. They think it's them. And it's not. It's this earthbound spirit. And I think that's a very common too. And somewhat.
Let me pause there and do a little bit of reading right here. But yeah, for those that are familiar with the Oahspe, man, that is hitting on so many verses. And I don't know if this brother done read the Oahspe or not, but if he hasn't, it just confirms what's in this book. And we're gonna shoot back over to the Oahspe right quick. Let's see the book of we'll do starting chapter 20. These then were the six heavens of Oahspe, namely Tawala Wala over Arabinian, 1,200 miles high. Set a song over Venue, 1,000 miles high. Go Enhi over Japheth, 1,100 miles high. Alapube over Europa, 1,000 miles high. APAC over North and Southern Gautama, 600 miles high and bordering on Getante, the subjective heaven of the ancients, which was now being reestablished by Caparros, a few over Chihuahua, 9,000 miles high. Usamis provided these heavens with no roadways in order to prevent the delivered spirits from flocking together, in which case they might run into anarchy or hells, and accordingly appointing to each of these heavens one ruler of the rank primal god, selecting them from the Therian host, but empowering them to bestow their thrones on successors at the end of dawn, giving them terms of office not less than 200 years, but subject to the limiting power of the god Theovrakistan. And I might be murdering these, unaliving these words, but you get what I'm talking about. Leica gave 4,000 messengers to At Yesenitis. At Yesenitis. I'm about to borrow that one. And 12,000 messengers to Usamis, to whom he had also gave 60 million laborers. But each of them provided their own heralds, musicians, marshals, captains in their own way. Now, therefore, At Yesenitis and Usamis, receiving their armies of laborers, fell to work, the former to delivering, and the latter to receiving the drudges of the earth. For those that is their first time tuning in, drudges are low spirits that like to hang around uh, on the earth and in the first resurrection. And Usamis put his host to building houses, hospitals, and other heavenly places, and to founding cities and provinces through the primal gods under him. So the same thing that's going on earth is going on in the spirit world. As far as the order of industry, so to speak, Jehovah had said all angels below, case in point, below the first resurrection, except infants, shall be in heaven and on earth as Judas. For they are those who do not have the capacity in knowledge or strength of individuality, meaning they don't know what they are. Unfortunately, as there are paupers, vagrants, beggars, and criminals on earth who are drunks, so are there spirits in the Hada who are great, who are a great trial to both mortals and angels. So you still got different classes of spirits in the spirit world, each one to a certain degree of knowledge and power, and they inhabit mortals and the houses that mortals dwell in. That wouldn't happen to be a haunted house, would it? And they inhabit mortals and the houses that mortals dwell in. Some mortals have one or two of them. Some mortals have one or two of them. Some have a score. And you remember the score from biblical days, if I can remember correctly, because I'm getting a little rusty with it. I think the score was 20, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 20. And some have hundreds of them. That would be any house or whatever, but really, insane asylums, as you would call them, and definitely hospitals, nursing homes, all kind of places. And some have hundreds of them. Some of them continue to inhabit mortal dwellings long after they have been abandoned, even till they fall in ruins. Yeah. Let's switch back to the video. Still wild though, ain't it?
Terrifying, because as a society, we're not even addressing that we need to energetically protect our youth when they're born. Energetically, that the immune system is like, or the aura is like the immune system towards these earthbound spirits and entities that are negative than that, more negative. And we're just talking now about the earthbound spirit, people like you and I that don't cross over, normal people. Okay, we're not talking about the demonic. We're not even going that deep. And this occurs like everything else on this planet. There's layers of all this. And this is the layer of those of us that don't cross over for various reasons and beliefs and ideas that we get, behavior patterns before crossing over. And from a mediumship aspect, I'll say this. At first, it was very disconcerting to me because I can detect earthbound spirits or ghosts, whatever you want to call them, spirits that are attached to people on the outside of their energy field, like a grandparent, a parent, a brother, a sister. They'll come through, and when they step forward, they'll give me some type of survival evidence before I communicate it to the client. That's different. These are not visible outside, detectable outside, because they're entwined in the person's behavior patterns. Something about the personality doesn't die during the death process. The physical body might, but something about the personality and the behavior patterns do not. Especially those that are ingrained a whole lot. There's like an entrainment of the brain. Anyway, so that's just something I want to say. So you may not be able to detect it despite how gifted you are on the outside of the client. And these are things that would come forward when I would get a client into hypnosis, like down past theta. Suddenly there's a way to find out if there are earthbound spirits with this person, how many of them are there, and then they'll start communicating. But they're often not aware, that they're not expected to be found and discovered. And that was just disconcerting, all right? But then when it changes the client's life and you see it later on in weeks going on, how some of these behavior patterns, they say, my goodness, that wasn't even my stuff. That wasn't me, that was them.
I'm a little bit confused in terms of when you say your client, who is the client? The person that's coming to you that's wanting to make contact with someone that's crossed over, or the crossed over individual themselves?
I can honestly say both, but in this case, I'm referring to the client that has come to me. The person that's come to me for the service, and that may be the problem that is in their life that's interfering with their life. But I mean, the physical person themselves. It's very interesting because oftentimes what helps us.
I'm gonna pause that. I want to switch over to another video that was hitting on what we was just showing here about the haunted houses. Now, this guy here, I just stumbled across his channel. I want to say he's a medium, but yeah, this is one of them kind of houses that you see in the hood, or in a more rural area. If you're from the country, you see these houses all the time. And the crazy thing about it, depending on how long you lived in that town or city, will determine if you knew these people that used to live in this spot, or your grandmama and them might know who lived in there and what kind of people they were. If they were spiritual people, if they was dangerous people, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, as you get older and you become more wiser and more sensitive to spiritual things and more knowledgeable about spiritual things, you might take you passing by, you might look at it a little longer than what you're used to. You know what I'm saying? Because you just, your mind be curious.
There's a house in my town, and it has had my attention forever. I don't know much about the house except for the fact that it is old. And when I mean old, it's probably about 150 years old or so, maybe more, I'm not sure. I've never done any research on this house, but I can tell you that ever since I was a teenager and I had a license and I started exploring the town, that this place got my attention. I don't know that it's ever been occupied as far as the last like 30 years or so, I've never seen anybody there. There's no cars, and there's certainly nobody there now. Nature has seemed to have reclaimed it. But this is what's always gotten my attention. I've always told my friends, even before my abilities were honed in as an investigator, as a medium, as an investigator in other ways, I've always said I thought something tragic happened there. And we're going to go see if we can make any contact with any entities there. It's cold out here. It's the end of December, but this house has been calling to me, and this morning I woke up and it has gone from nagging to something that I have to do. And I thought you guys should come for the ride. Let's go see if we can find something paranormal at this house. So as a kid, my friends and I had visited this home quite a few times. Back then, there was nothing in the front of this house. It wasn't overgrown like this. This is pretty gnarly. I wouldn't venture to go inside this house at all. You can tell it's very dilapidated. The roof is coming in, the front porch here is coming in. But for where we are in this town, and about how old I probably think this home is, probably, I'd say about 100, 150 years old maybe. Basically, I think that this was a jewel of the town at some point. We are in a space where there weren't many other homes of its time that I can tell here. Unfortunately, of course, you can see it's become a little bit of a dumping ground, and it stopped being maintained a very long time ago. Let me tell you what's drawing me to this house. So when I was a kid, I had dreams, like visions of a house like this, and it always felt like it was calling to me. It always felt like there was a White House in the woods that I should just find, and that there was going to be some sort of mystery to uncover. Now, is this that house? I don't know. It could be. Again, I woke up this morning. It's the day after Christmas. I woke up this morning, and this place, I felt like it was just yelling at me to come visit. I drive by it very often on my way to and from doing work things, and as you can hear, there's a lot of traffic on the road right now. The recycling plant is nearby, and people are dropping off their boxes after Christmas and all that kind of stuff. But we're here for a different reason. We're here because this house seems to want to talk to us, or maybe somebody in the house rather wants to talk to us. So we're going to switch over to Ghost Tube Vox, and we're going to see if we can make contact with anybody here. Maybe somebody will give us some information why I feel as though there was a murder here. Maybe I'll get some information as to why I feel like something tragic happened here, although I have no proof of that aside from the fact that I feel it. Let's find out. Hello everybody, if there's anyone here. Now I'm going to tell you what I'm feeling immediately. So I've taken a couple minutes since we made that video, since I cut and brought us to this. There's two things that are happening. I feel a lot of anger, and I'm upset, and I feel as though I have the same feeling right now that I would get when I was about to engage in some sort of physical altercation with someone. No stranger to that in my younger years. We did a lot of that. We did a lot of attempting martial arts and combat training, all that stuff in the Marines. So I sort of have that feeling right now. So as I go along here, I feel as though there were at least 2, maybe 3 men that were in some sort of fight or combat here. I don't know. But we're going to ask, and we're going to see if we come up with anything. There's all this energy and this anger. Tomorrow. It's today. You guys called me. I'm here. So all of this stuff is kind of making me feel like I should be here, and I should talk to who's ever here. So for whoever is here.
So if you're familiar with people that go out and so-called hunt for spirits, paranormal researchers, they have a lot of little devices. One of them, one of the popular ones, is a spirit box. And supposedly some of the spirits come through in communication with these spirit boxes. You know, it's an interesting study, but I think he's about to use it and communicate with whatever spirits are inside this house.
My name is Scott. I can see you, feel you, and hear you. I know you've recognized me in the past on my visits here. This is the first time I'm officially ever trying to reach out to you. So if you have something you'd like to say, now would be a wonderful time to do that. I feel like there's somebody watching out of this window right here. It's quiet. You might be saying to yourself, why are you out there in the daytime? Ghost hunting should be done at night. Well, I feel like when there's spirits that are calling to you, you can come anytime you want. It doesn't really matter if it's daytime or nighttime or whatever. They will really talk to you when they want. See? Can somebody come out and say hello to us? It's chilly out here. My name is Scott.
I agree with that too. Spirits ain't tripping on nighttime. Now, certain activities might be a little more prevalent at nighttime, but if a spirit want to contact you in the daytime, that's what it's gonna do.
Scott. I am looking for any spirits or ghosts that might be around. If they have anything to say, I'd love to hear it. You can speak nice and loud to me, I can hear you, or you can come up to this device in my hand and speak through that. You can attempt it. I'm sure nobody's ever tried that before with you. So this is a phone. You may have had one in this house at some point, but you would just pick it up and call people. This is a device that is also a phone, but it can talk to spirits and ghosts as well. So if you know how to work with telephone, you can use this the same way. Just come up and say hello into the phone, and hopefully I'll be able to hear something and get some information. So I'd just like to know, what's the name of anybody who lives here? say hell state? Are you stuck in your death state? I know you guys can't see this, but as I'm standing here, like out in front of me, I'm just kind of what we might call psychic gazing, and all of this is getting wavy in front of me, like as if somebody's walking up to me. I know it's cold out here, but I'm getting the goosebumps as if I'm getting colder. Can you come up and say hello, please?
Stretch around.
What? Yes.
Crazy. Let's switch back to the Oahspe right quick. Let's see where we at. And they inhabit mortals and the houses that mortals dwell in. Some mortals have one or two of them, some a score, and some have hundreds of them. Some of them continue to inhabit mortal dwellings long after they have abandoned them, even till they fall in ruins. As you can see, that house is in ruins. And whoever comes into such house, the Druges come upon him to live on him and with him. So the question is, a lot of these paranormal researchers, every time they go into a spot with a lot of activity, could it be possible that they take something home with them? And if a mortal has greater wisdom and strength of soul than the Druges, he rules over them to a good purpose, reforming them and raising them up out of darkness and helplessness. But if the Druges have greater power than the mortal, then they pull him down in darkness, making him into a man who lusts after the affairs of the earth. Sometimes they help man to riches and great power. Now, that's something to think about right there. Some of the people that are on that Forbes list and how they got there. And like I tell folk all the time, a lot of them people that make all them billions, you had to have stepped on some people to get to that position. You didn't have to shit on somebody to get to them positions. You're not just getting to be the richest person in the world just because you're a nice person. That's not how this life works. Real talk. And if he has sons and daughters who are brought up in idleness, ease, and luxury, then the Druges fasten upon them, leading them in their own way of lust and debauchery or hard heartedness. That's why you've seen a lot of the celebrities in 2024. All their dirt is coming to the light. And probably the things that we've been able to hear, that's light work. We probably ain't even heard the real deal stuff from a lot of them powerful Europeans at the top. The flesh eater is their delight, and the drunkard their great joy. The man of riches and kings, generals, fighting men, harlots, and soldiers are great treasures to them. The flesh eater is their delight, and the drunkard their great joy. Whether you are still consuming flesh or getting super slopped, just keep that in mind. You might not be a flesh eater, but you might still be getting super slopped at times. But just think about how it make you feel or the way it make you act. Or if you see somebody else doing it, super slop, can barely keep themselves up. And this ain't a thing where we, pointing the finger, but consciously you do have those times where you might say to yourself, "Man, I acted a fool that night," and you was under the influence of something, whether it be alcohol or some other substance. You know, we gonna get down to the nuts and bolts of this stuff. Creative Gang all about that truth, whether it hits you or not. That's why we here. Some in us down through the years got to the point where you know what, I need something heavier, something deeper than what I'm being fed. I want to know the truth about spirits because even though we might not learn everything while we here in the flesh, we can learn as much as we possibly can. And for years we was duped by religion. Oh, don't question God. Oh, don't question the pastor. Don't question your leadership. And I give Creator more props than that. I say he do want us to know a lot of things that is beyond the masses. The priest and the preacher who live in ease and luxury, performing showy rites and entertainments, are great harvest for them to revel. Sometimes the Jews just rule over their mortal, and his neighbors call him mad. That neighbor you see talking to himself next door, or depending on what kind of job you got, you might have some patients that you see walking around talking to themselves. Or you just might be rolling around the city somewhere. See somebody at the bus stop arguing with themselves. You ain't got to be crazy to talk to yourself. And they send him to the madhouse, which is to them a city of delight. Mm. Saying that they have a field day in places like that, them asylums. Yeah, short legs trying to turn up. They ain't turned up all day. Now they want to turn up when I'm recording. When mortals engage in war, slaying one another, the Druids have great merriment, taking part by inspiring the mortals into conflict. Think about all those wars all down through the years, and all that Ukraine and Russia crap going on, and Israel and Palestine. They having a field day out there taking lives, like a buffet. The pleader or lawyer is a favorite to them, for his vocation brings them into the center of contention, craft, and lying. And you notice most of the time, not all lawyers, but a lot of them do got some money. And when you look at it from this perspective, how the Jews is like that kind of mortal, it kind of makes a little better, makes a little more sense. Because, like I was saying a minute ago about the billionaires, you had to shit on somebody to get there, knowing or unknowingly. You had to shit on somebody to become worth $500 billion. You can dress it up, put makeup on it, all you want, but I mean, if you're gonna be real, I mean, it is what it is. The magician who works miracles and tricks is their favorite. Uh-oh. As Mac Bomb Maccabee would say, oh, for him, for with him and through him, they can make themselves manifest. Yes. So all y'all that's putting full course meals on your ancestor altars. I mean, look, stop it. And when they show themselves and are questioned as to who they answer to any name that will please. Hold on. Let me read that again. The magician who works miracles and tricks is their favorite, for with him and through him they can make themselves manifest. And I understand all the new age lingo. Certain things are good or cool as far as new age, but then you got some stuff that just be like, that's way out there and it don't make no damn sense. And it ain't because your knowledge is just that low. No, it's just certain things just don't make no sense. And when they show themselves and are questioned as to who they answer to any name that will please or flatter, even at times pretending to be gods and saviors. Uh-oh. The tattling woman who talks about her neighbors is a good home for jujus. And if the woman is given to talk evil, they are rejoiced beyond measure. The man who is a great boaster and a liar and slanderer is a choice house for them to dwell in. Yeah, so these jokers, man, shacked up on the inside with a lot of people. That's why we gotta do self-inventory periodically, if not every day or every other day, making sure that you on the good end of the stick, so to speak.
I think you said company. I guess I would be unannounced company, although I do feel like somebody was shouting to me to come here. May I speak with the man of the house, please?
Accepting.
Well, if the lady of the house is here, I would be more than happy to speak with her as well. Still, this feeling of anger, upsetness, dread, it's all here, and it's present very much here in the daytime. I can't imagine how this would feel at night. Can you come out and say hello, please? You're right there? My heart is fluttering so hard. I don't mean to... Yes, I don't mean to intrude, but I felt as though somebody was calling me here, and I wanted to make sure that if there was somebody calling out, that I listened. I feel like there's a lot of blood. Did somebody pass away here?
Be there.
There? There? Where? Can you tell me where? Was there some sort of altercation here? I keep feeling like there's an altercation. If you have something to say about that, please say the word altercation, fight, murder, something like that.
Realize.
You realize? I feel like I'm being pushed away. I feel like there are two men. One is asking for help and one is pushing me back.
Birthday.
Whose birthday is it? Yesterday was Jesus' birthday. It was Christmas.
You pray.
Yes, we pray. Do you need prayers?
Axe.
Axe? Was there some kind of murder with an axe here? I feel more like blunt force trauma. I don't know where, but I just keep getting the feeling of like a weapon was used. So it's interesting it said axe. Hopefully we'll be able to go back and do some research and find something out about this. Again, I don't know anything. It's really important to remember that I'm just out here because I felt like I need to come out here today. Does someone here need help or prayers?
Get out now.
Get out? Who's trying to push me away?
Winning.
Winnings? What if I come in there?
Stop.
What? I said stop. Stop. Apartments?
And that's another thing too. If you think about it, you know, most religious people will say, "Oh, there's demons and stuff in their house." Not saying that there can't be, but why would a demon tell you to get out the house? You know what I'm saying? It would probably tell you to come on up in here so it can get you. You know what I'm saying? Versus a lot of these spirits that be in these houses, they be like, get out. You know what I'm saying? Don't that sound more like a spirit of somebody that used to live there, and since it's their dwellings, they don't want you in the house? Don't that make a little more sense?
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry about the camera angle. So what is happening here? Why am I called here? And you guys are speaking extremely clear. I'm very impressed, by the way.
Break.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to some of the things you're saying.
Getting married.
Getting married? Is there some sort of happy thing that happened here? An anniversary date, perhaps, today?
Someone later.
Can you say the name of the family that owned this house? That I do know. Or I think I know anyway.
In one.
I'm pretty sure this house is named after, the street I'm on is named after the family that lived here, I think. That could be completely blunt. It's just what I think since I've been growing up here. Can you say the name of somebody who lived here?
Hey.
That sounded like they said the name of the street I'm on. I'll have to go back and listen to it and I'll let you know.
Let's see.
Is there some kind of murder here?
Down.
Is somebody reaching out for help?
Action.
Action. Okay. I also, aside from the house, that is very creepy. Sorry, I had to restart. Aside from the house that's creepy, I feel as though that there's people buried, like a cemetery, which if there is, it's probably impossible to get to at this point. But I just feel like I keep seeing headstones somewhere. Let's just take a little walk around the back. By the way, everybody, this is something I will tell you. Don't do anything illegal. Don't break into homes. Even though this is abandoned, I don't think anybody would ever care. Don't go to places you're not supposed to be. We're circling around the edge. We're not taking or leaving anything. And it's very important that if you're going to go looking for spirits and ghosts, that you don't do anything illegal doing it. I don't want anybody getting hurt, and I don't want you getting in trouble. That's a little PSA from me, okay? Is there anybody buried back here? Dude, I just keep feeling like I'm being pressed away from this place. If you don't know what that's like, imagine like somebody's house that you were at and like you wanted to leave, but you were like kind of obligated to be there. Or if you've ever been in like a situation where like you're like, I gotta get out of here, and you feel like you should leave. That's sort of how this feels. But nobody aside from that one voice told me to get out. So we're gonna ask a little bit more questions about if there are any people buried out here. To whoever I'm speaking at here at this house, is there a graveyard or a cemetery somewhere back here that we should know about? I don't know what he said, but I'm gonna guess that's some sort of response in the positive. I feel like this way, out here, there's some sort of burial ground. I don't know if it belongs to the people who are here or a family burial or something. I could be completely wrong, by the way. I just feel, I see headstones psychically, and out here somewhere, I feel like there's at least 1, 2, maybe 3, like 2 adults and a child. If I see 2 big headstones and 1 little one. So I feel like I should talk about 2 and 1. So 2 adults and 1 child. And they look like they lived here a pretty long time ago. And that they're buried somewhere out here, or at least they were at some point. Don't know if I'll ever be able to find anything to actually confirm that, but we'll take a look. So the spirit's here at the house. Again, I feel as though you called me here, and I'm here to listen to your story. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
They're just like.
We're just gonna do a little crawl through here. Remember, anytime you're going through places like this, oh, my hook got snagged. That, you know, the ground, you don't know. It looks like solid ground, but it may not be. So just be careful if you're gonna do a little exploring around places. This is the back of the house. The windows are missing. Hello? Is anybody out here like to speak with me? I hear music back here. Are you shouting at me? Can you shout your name at me, please?
I'm looking.
You're looking? I'm looking also.
No fire.
Something about a fire?
Took me a long time.
It took you a long time? It took you a long time to do what?
Says the cheater and the frauder, the miser and the spendthrift, the cursor of Jehovah, the cursor of the gods, is like a citadel for them to inhabit. They do not go, for the most part, away from the mortal they inhabit while he lives. No, they lack the wisdom or strength to go more than one length away. So they don't even know how to get away, how to raise themselves up. That's what you there for. Some of them have strength to go to a neighbor or to a neighbor's house. And if a mortal curses his neighbor to die, then those Jews who can go to their neighbor seek out some poisonous infection and inoculate him to death, which is called casting spells. Ooh wee. But I'm gonna stop right there. That's all I got for y'all today. Tune in next time for another episode of the Brian Show Report. Peace. And don't be foolish. And be fooling around with the false gods.
Creator Gang Gang.